Welcome to AMPEDCast, where we bring together the worlds of electronic dance music and storytelling. Get to know industry leaders and talent on the rise as we sit down with them to share their artist journey from behind the decks. Our community is one for artists and music lovers alike, so settle in and enjoy the experience. Welcome to Sessions, powered by AMPEDCast here at Tequila 512 tonight. And tonight we have special guests, the team of Babestock. And Babestock here has been a huge asset to the community, and they are coming up on their sophomore year of their festival happening at Cheer Up Charlie's in June 2025. And so I would love to introduce the incredible team behind what's happening here in the Austin area. Welcome, guys.
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you, everyone, for being here and anyone watching this later or listening. I'm DJ Hipster. I am the festival director, the founder. Thank you. I'm also the founder of BABE ATX, which is a femme and non-binary DJ collective in Austin, Texas, and BABE Records, which is a electronic record label devoted to showcasing women and gender-expansive artists.
Wonderful. Woohoo!
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Hey y'all, I'm Sophie. I'm the marketing director here at Babestock. Kelsea actually taught me how to DJ last year, and that's how I got connected. So I get to work with our amazing social team, handle partnerships, outreach, all that jazz. It's been a blast.
Yeah, hi folks. I'm DJ Delusion. I am the director of community for Babestock and they, them pronouns, and really hopped on the Babe Collective and the Babe Dream and doing DJing professionally for about a year now.
Hi, I'm Isabella. I'm not a DJ. I just wanted to get involved. I think it's such a super cool mission. I'm the talent coordinator, so any future artists out there watching potentially, let me know. Hit me up.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for being here today and for bringing this to life to share not only about your upcoming event, but about your journeys in music and what makes your passions just go for the industry. And so I'd love to kick it off with a question for Kelsea. How did this brainchild happen, and what's the why behind BABE ATX and Babestock?
I'm so glad you asked that question. Let me just go through some of the lore of my story. So I actually lived in Hanoi, Vietnam for a couple years during the pandemic, and that's where I learned how to DJ, and I learned with this group called Pho the Girls. So I learned how to DJ in a femme and them community, and I thought that was the norm. I was like, okay, sick. And fast forward to 2021, I moved here to Austin, and I was looking for a very similar kind of community. I was like, where all the lady DJs at? Where the queer DJs at? And it was just like crickets online. And I was like, oh no. So I was like, I guess I have to do this myself. And so BABE was born, which stands for Badass Bitches Elevating. Can I curse on here?
Yeah, of course.
And so I just started researching flyers and just researching the DJs and trying to find fellow femme and them DJs. And then I made a Discord server to get this digital hub for all of us, and I started teaching women and non-binary folks how to DJ to get more of us, and I started promoting all of our events on Instagram and just really trying to build this community for us. And then eventually all these other projects started sprouting out of this community. And so Babestock is one of those projects. And this actually came about because I won't name any names, but there is a very big electronic music festival in town. And I looked at their lineup, and it was 80% male. I think maybe more than that, actually. And the local lineup, there was one woman. So it was like 93% male, I think. And so this just made me think, like, okay, I started researching, and I'm like, wow, most lineups are like 80% male. And so I just thought, like, what if there was an electronic music festival that was all women and gender-expansive folks? And then people started rallying behind me and were like, I want to help you do that. And I'm like, really? Okay. And then we did our first festival last June, and we're doing it again.
Congrats. Like, especially when you feel that calling of like, it's my time, like somebody's got to do it, and you're like, oh shit, it's me. But then you're like, oh yeah, it's me. And then it becomes we, and then it becomes a group of supporters, and community is one thing you do incredibly well. And so,
thank you.
So I'd love to kind of like open this up to the panel. What has been for each of you your calling to be part of Babestock?
I can start. I run a music magazine on the side, so I've been doing that for about 8 years. That's how I've worked in music and have been exposed to all areas of the industry. I did the major label thing, did not love it, and so similar to Kelsea, I felt kind of a calling to do my own thing and make my impact through that. When I moved to Austin almost 3 years ago, I kind of felt like I'd started over in the industry. I'm initially from LA, felt like I'd find that community in Austin. I was looking for that community as well. Found Kelsea, our Lord and Savior. She taught me how to DJ, and that's what kind of got me into this scene. And when I hear that she's throwing this festival, I'm like, yeah, say no more. And putting it together has been a challenge, obviously, but has been so rewarding, and especially on the marketing front, it's like every little interaction means something, right? Like anytime someone responds to my email or like comments on our Instagram post or just gives us kudos, it means so much to us. And like you had mentioned, it ultimately is about community. Like the festival is just one piece of the puzzle, right? And like we do so much of our work online and digitally, and like being able to connect in person with people through not only music, but through dance and through our vendors and through the experience as a whole is just literally the coolest experience ever. So I think ultimately my calling came to how can I continue to get more involved in the Austin community and provide something that I want that I'm not seeing, similar to Kelsea. And yeah, I think overall, hopefully everyone feels some sort of calling to this mission, right? And maybe you don't want to be the person throwing it, but hopefully the person that is interested in showing up.
Definitely.
Yeah, for me, I kind of stumbled into DJing. I started actually in the radio sphere, having on-air radio shows and doing concert photography and article writing back in college. And just through helping out events and events director, which is something from that experience that I'm bringing here to Babestock, I wanted to explore more DJing. I was shadowing, these guys, really learning it, and I kind of jumped in and was like, yeah, let me do it for the love of it. I know that I was gonna come into it a little bit unorthodoxly, just because I come from a university with different campuses in different countries, so I really wanted to accommodate different languages. And so coming in with a little bit of a far-fetched, unusual angle for me, community that was already welcoming was very important. And for me, because I'm new, having a bunch of female and gender expansive here in Austin, like, community is my norm. Like, it's been the opposite. It's really hard for me to kind of step out of it and kind of get the glaring sun of the industry now and then. To the point where I moved back to Austin. I was actually driving 3 hours, like once or twice a week from Dallas, just to do like See You Next Tuesday, or just to go do things like Babe and Future Front. And I just moved back to be like, I really want to support this community, be a part of this community, and kind of uplift it through things like Babestock.
That's powerful.
And then for me, I've always wanted to work in music, but it's really tough. A lot of it is about connections, who you know, and it can be really hard to break into. And a big part of why I moved to Austin is that it's the live music capital. And I was still struggling to get my foot in the door, and also trying to figure out, like, yeah, I want to work in music, festivals especially, but I still really want like this community aspect to my work. I want it to mean something, go to something. And then I just saw an Instagram ad that said we're looking for volunteers for a talent coordinator, and it was that easy.
Isn't that amazing? I love that. Give it up for that question. Like, thank you guys. Now, looking at, were you all part of the team last year too?
No,
okay.
I'm the only person here on this panel that is a returning veteran.
Okay.
Everyone else here is new. So yeah, Sophie's like, it's been so rewarding. I'm like, you don't even know yet how rewarding it is going to be June 14th and 15th.
It's incredible. And I was there last year. I actually interviewed you and some of the artists last year on the spot. And it was so much fun to just take in that experience, see what you brought, and see how the community backed you. So I'd love to talk about your experience. And another question for everyone about community. I'd love to kick it off with Kelsea, because you mentioned something pre-interview that you said the community of Austin has really helped and backed you behind this project. Can you share some of the ways it's done that for you?
Yeah. I mean, a typical route that a lot of festivals go is corporate sponsorships. And in our case, we are pretty much completely grassroots. We are not, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but as of right now, our biggest supporters have been the city of Austin, because we've received grants to help us throw this festival. And all of our volunteers, everyone on this team, like, we're not doing this for the money, I'll tell you that much. Like, we're literally just trying to build something and make a space that doesn't exist anywhere else. And all the people who support in all these different ways, whether that's buying tickets and attending, or buying merch, or all sorts of ways to support. But really, we've been supported by our community, and that's who we've been able to rely on. We haven't relied on any corporations or anything like that.
That's really huge. And kind of to piggyback off of that question, you found grants that support local art, local music. I know that's something that other artists are trying to do but don't really know how. How did you come about learning about the grant opportunities and grant writing and all that stuff that can be kind of like a jumble to understand?
Yeah. Oh, and also, I'm so sorry, I forgot to mention, Future Front is another organization that has been supporting us heavy. If you don't know about Future Front, definitely check them out. They're a nonprofit with a very similar mission to us, supporting gender diversity in the creative sphere in Texas specifically. So I want to shout them out too. As far as the grant process, it's funny that you bring this up, because I was just talking about this with someone in the crowd. I was like, you should apply for grants from the city. Like, your mission, if you have a social mission, you're trying to do some good in the world with art, like, you should apply for grants. And what I would recommend is going to, if you're in Austin, going to the City of Austin Economic Development Department, their website, and they have all sorts of information about their grants. And you can sign up for a newsletter, so you'll get emails like, okay, this grant just opened up. This grant is closing soon. So like, I recommend doing that, just so you know the timeline of things. And then at that point, it's really just doing the application, following directions, making your application as compelling as possible. It's kind of like being back at school at that point 100%.
In time. That's a good way to put it. It's like an essay, kind of.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, that's incredible. Yes.
Yeah, I will also speak to this, as doing Babestock this year, I wouldn't necessarily say like a similar adjacent role, but having experience, it very much is like, again, it's not for the money, it's more for the experience and what you get out of it and learning from just doing and building and fostering this thing. And Kelsea and Babe and just the city of Austin have fostered such a, like, you're willing to just be open and engage and don't worry about having to perfect this thing. It's something that you're growing with it. This city is growing with you, and through that, even just like the city of Austin, like websites and organizations, like they have a lot of resources on like what do food vendors need, what, they're very event minded. They're like, here are your permits, here's what you should be requesting, what you should be asking. So on the permit side of things, there are those resources, and once you do follow through, there's just so many resources that the city provide to help you foster into something that is a real living, breathing thing that you're interacting with, touching, engaging with. And so that's the goal with Babestock this year.
100%. It's really about, I feel like two really strong things. One is community, and one is like, you think about a sculpture. You're sculpting every year. You're sculpting it to be more, in alignment, or you're changing it and growing it. It's like a living, breathing thing.
Absolutely. And I've said it before. I had an Instagram video last year where I was like, I've never thrown a festival before. This is my first time. I'm just going for it, and I'm just learning as I go, and we're all in the same boat here. And, sometimes don't let perfection get in the way of done.
Done is better than perfect. I said that to myself earlier today. It is so true. And it's like, sometimes it's that, don't let those fears of perfection paralysis like hold you back. Take the step anyway. Do it, and there's always room to grow. You have to have something to have a jump off point, Yeah.
I said earlier, I was like, you got to start somewhere.
Got to start somewhere. So speaking of, I'd love to learn about the talent and like how you've sourced your talent. Are folks coming in from Austin, all over the country? I'd love to learn more about the talent.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, so I joined the team later on. I joined back in like February. So a lot of the artists had already submitted their applications. So I didn't do any of the sourcing.
Wait. Maybe we should back up and talk about artist applications first.
Oh, true. So artists have to apply. So we submitted an application, January?
Yeah, in January.
And then got a really, really great response. A lot of really great applicants. By the time I joined, all of that was already done. And I've been mostly helping with any accommodations that they might need, because we are getting people from out of town, some from out of state, someone's coming from Mexico, so even out of the country. Yeah. So it's been really great to just chat with everyone, sort of familiarize myself with needs, because I don't know anything about DJing. And so some of their requests, I'm like, Kelsea, what does this mean? I don't know what it means, but I'm writing it down. So it's just been a really great learning experience. And a lot of the artists are coming from all over, a wide variety of sounds. So it'll be really, really cool to check out.
Yeah, part of it, what makes it work is people want this to happen. People want to be vendors. People want to perform. People want to engage in this thing. And I think that's really important, is that we keep that synergy going.
Did you want to say that? Yeah, so basically our process, so we have an application for artists, and this year, so our first year we had 60 applications, I think, and this year we had like 160. So
wow, that's incredible.
yeah. So there's just so much talent out there, and people who want this to happen too, and want to be a part of it, and want to share their beautiful art. And one of the really, really cool things about Babestock, and this is very intentional on my part because I'm the one who's curating the lineup, I want diversity in every sense of the word. So at the festival, you're gonna hear house, techno, classic stuff like that. But we also have a dark wave. We have a couple dark wave artists.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So we have some live instruments. We have bass. We have drum and bass. We have garage. We have club music. Like, it's really the entire electronic music spectrum. And part of the fun is just like going and exploring all the different. We'll have 2 stages. And so, yeah, if you just hang around all day, you're gonna hear so much cool new music that you probably like didn't even know existed.
That's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, some produced too by the DJs themselves. A lot of this community is also like female, gender-expansive produced, like Babe Records.
Yeah, so I don't know how many of you know this, but about 6% of producers identify as women. So that's shockingly low.
That is shockingly low.
And the cool part about Babestock is that I don't know the exact percentage off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure the majority of our artists are also producers, actually.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so looking at, what's to come this year, what is one way each of you want to grow through the experience of this being your sophomore year and first time? How do you want to grow? What do you want to see out of Babestock?
I'm going to let y'all go first.
I gotta think on that one.
It's a big question.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think first thing that comes to mind is expanding our reach within the community, right? And I know we keep throwing that word around, but I think we mean community in the sense of engaged people who feel like there's a space for them. Like they're coming not only to hear music, but because they feel called to be part of a place where they feel and seen, like represented by what's around them and through the event itself. So I think personally, I'd like to continue to, from a marketing standpoint, obviously expand our reach, but from a personal standpoint, I just want everyone to know about it, right? Like when you pitch this festival, it's a no-brainer. Like, why the hell would you not want to support this? Why would you not want to pull up? We're biased because we're doing it, but this is like the coolest fucking thing. And I think that's made, my job a lot easier, but in terms of growing, just getting on the eyes and ears of as many people as possible, not because we're trying to work on ticket sales, but because we just want as many people to experience this event and be able to be part of this move. It's a movement, there's an amazing mission, but there's a movement that we're a part of, and we're not trying to gatekeep that, right? It's supposed to be for everyone. So just trying to get as many people hopping on the train and supporting it.
Definitely. I love that.
I think really what I want to gain from this is just acknowledgement, like the sentiment of acknowledgement. Just people going in, doesn't matter if they're attendees, volunteers, just listening, taking a moment and coming out being like, I felt heard, I felt seen, I felt included. There is something out there for me. I feel like I have something to come into and I know I'm welcomed. Mm-hmm. And for us, that could be also like our wellness aspect. Like I want to make sure that like if something were to happen, because it's, rave and club, culture, things can go awry, making sure that they're tended for and if people feel like we are there to also take care of them. But also as an emerging and growing DJ myself, just kind of having the acknowledgement that like I am welcome in this community and there is room for growth for me and that people want to welcome that growth. I think just the mission and the idea of just having acknowledgement being kind of fulfilled through Babestock is something that I'm looking forward to.
Definitely.
Yeah, and for me, I also wanted to touch on diversity again. There is the diversity of sound, yes, absolutely, and also racial and ethnic diversity too. That's super important to us in many, many conversations we've had. It's very common for someone to be like, okay, but don't forget, like we're also trying to put people of color, Black producers, dark-skinned producers, people of different able body abilities, different genders, we're trying to put them at the forefront. And so it's very, very common to have those conversations of like, okay, yeah, we're going to select 5 people out of this pool and don't forget to account for these things as well. And that's been really huge for me as a woman of color in Austin. I love this city, but it's a very white city. And so I don't know, I've really loved being a part of this team and being a part of those conversations, knowing it's being accounted for. And in terms of growth, like, I just want to ride this high for as long as I can, I guess. Like, I want this to grow and be something so beautiful, and I just want to know that I got to be a part of it from the beginning.
Yes. I absolutely love this. And what you all are creating is a space where everyone can find joy through music, no matter who they are, what background they come from. And it just gives them that space to find their confidence as an artist or an attendee or just someone who wants to get involved. I think that's really, really cool. And so I would love to open up to the audience for some Q&A for the team here. So if anybody has a question, feel free to raise your hand and we will ask some questions.
Before we go to this,
Oh, yeah.
did we mention like the details of the event yet? Like where it's happening and when?
Oh, definitely. I was gonna plug that at the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
No
I'll
worries,
plug
no
all
worries.
the contact info at the end and we'll get everything.
Okay, cool. Just want to
everybody
make
does.
sure we had the basics covered first.
Always. We will definitely plug the event.
Perfect.
All right, Blake. Three.
Like artists?
On our lineup?
Who are the 3
Am
artists?
I allowed to answer this question? Okay.
I'm looking forward to seeing some of our fellow board members perform because we work together. We've been working together, the past 9 months for me. And usually our meetings are virtual and we sometimes meet in person, but I'm looking forward to seeing my people throw down.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think 3, but no specific names. There are people on the lineup who have taught me something that I want to go out and see and support. There are people who are learning with me and are also up and coming that I also want to go and support. And I really just want to find someone new. Babe is an expanding community. It's one of those things where I've kind of been like, oh, have you heard about this female DJ? And it's like, which one? And then you'd be like, oh, like this BIPOC DJ that plays, Baile Funk, and you're like, which one? Having to kind of be like, okay, or I have you heard of this person? I'm like, probably. I'm probably in those circles, and the fact that they're in my radar, and it's just a wonderful thing. But actually going out and seeing them and going beyond our Discord or like an Instagram post, and really engage with them.
I really like that. Yeah, I really like how you put the 3.
I could cry right now just
That was well
hearing Dylan say all these things because I am really seeing the fruits of my labor right now, and I'm seeing I'm actually gonna cry. I'm seeing like new DJs come up and they're getting chances that older DJs had to work harder for. And so I'm just so happy to hear that we at least know about each other now and we help each other.
Yeah, I met a female DJ at a gig that I was working at food industry wise, and I was like, oh, are you with Babe? And the first time in a while I've heard no. And I was like, oh, let me share you the link to our Discord. Like, we don't like gatekeep. We're very much like looking out for each other. We're like, hey, I'm booked. Like, here's a gig. Who wants it? You know, we're very much like, go out, support, like, you got this. And so it's kind of like now when I see like a gender-expansive DJ, I'm like, oh, are you part of Babe? Like, it's almost like it has to be like a 1-to-1 ratio, because why wouldn't you join it?
Oh, definitely good answers. You guys, I'm getting emotional too. Like, this is super cool. So let's open it up. Any other questions from the audience? We got some questions for the babes. Anna.
What's been your favorite part of the planning so far?
So what's been your favorite part of the planning so far?
Or anything of the process?
I mean, I really enjoy curating the lineup and just going through the artist applications. It's very much a lot of work and tedious, but I also like learn about all these amazing, talented artists, and I hear all these different kinds of music, and that's just a really fun, cool process for me.
Definitely.
I've loved getting to pitch this event, whether it's to press, partnerships, creators and influencers, because every time they respond, it's not just like, sure, we're interested. It's like, holy shit, this is so cool. Like, they just rave about it. So that's been really unique, because I feel like I'm used to pitching, you know, in my day job or other stuff, just kind of boring stuff. So people are not only down to, no offense, people are not only down to support, but they feel really passionate about it. So just getting to connect with like such a variety of partners, creators, media has been awesome.
Yeah, this event is such a flex. Like, oh yeah, I'm a part, or I'm in the lineup of this gender-expansive, like, Austin local. You know, putting all the buzzwords, but it's true, and it is such a flex. It is. I'm sorry. It is such a flex.
Oh yes, that's awesome.
Like being like, oh, Cheer Up Charlie's, yeah, I'm performing there with all this community. Like, here you go, see us out.
Also, I just want to point out that Cheer Up Charlie's, which is where it's happening, is one of the only venues in town that is owned by women. I'm not sure exactly how many there are, but probably I could count them on one hand.
But yeah, in terms of my answer is hearing yes and saying yes, you know, reaching out to people, being like, hey, we have this spot open, or hey, you know, we're reaching out because we heard from someone, or, you know, we've come across like your page, just even for resources, and being like, we have this mission, we have this goal, you know, we're very much from the ground up. Is this something that is an opportunity for you to want to seek out? And just hearing yes and like being like, cool, then let's go with it, is just one step closer to actually like coming up to the big event and seeing it into fruition.
100%.
Yeah, I'd say for me, because as the talent coordinator liaison, there are slow moments of it. Like, they don't need me as much. Or sometimes they need me a little bit more. So I think I get to do more of like the fun one-off things. Like, there may or may not be a piñata at Babestock, and you will have to come to see.
Yeah, we're really trying to make things representational, like tangible. Being like, hey, we're tired of monotony in the music industry. Hey, we're really trying to engage in this community and just kind of like all for one. And if that means like hitting a piñata and people, you know, getting, you know, reaping what we've sown and just having a fun time and feeling like that effort has been worth it, you know, just doing those kinds of one-off things are worth it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
The other thing too is that we're also putting together a little pre-event artist mixer. So I don't know. Sometimes the rest of the team is like really stressed with talking about contracts or someone's not getting to us back in time, and I'm just like planning a little party, buying a little piñata.
You gotta have something you could just like hit and it drops you candy, and you're like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, and like what Bella is saying with our artist mixer, that's another goal in addition to showcasing underrepresented voices, is that we also want to build community amongst the artists and build those relationships with each other. And so that's like that's why we're doing the artist mixer.
Yeah.
We're really just trying to build connections from every angle with this festival, pretty much.
I love it. You guys, this is incredible. I think we have time for one more question. So anybody got a dying question?
What advice do y'all have for any up-and-coming DJs who might want to get involved with BABE?
So what advice do you have for any up-and-coming DJs who want to get involved with BABE?
You can DM on Instagram, BABE ATX, be like, hey, I want to join the Discord. I'll send the link to you straight away, no problem. And once you're in the Discord, it'll be very easy to connect with other DJs in there. And yeah, my recommendations if you're like a new DJ, are to connect with more established DJs and also new DJs who are coming up with you so that you can support each other, and go and support these DJs' events that you admire and you look up to. That's step one, show face, say, hey, I'm here for you. That's gonna go a long way. And yeah, really just get out into the community and interact with other DJs. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah, I'll just echo that. Show up and be authentic. I mean, it's so easy to support people online, but that's not what is paying the bills, or that's not what, when you're at a show, that's not what's making a difference. So just echoing Kelsea, show up to these DJs, go to their sets, stay for their sets, whether it's a crazy, stupid 3 o'clock at some random place, 3 a.m. or p.m., I'm not specifying.
It can be either. Yes.
Show up and be there to genuinely connect, not just for the sake of, tit for tat. Like, be an authentic member in the crowd and try and build a relationship with these people, because you never know where it's going to go, whether it's a fellow DJ or someone on the behind the scenes.
All right.
Yeah, someone who's coming up like to an expansive and growing experience in industry, and it can be daunting. I would just recommend being like, if you find excitement, or there's even an inkling of happiness, or I really want to try it out, like focus on that rather than like, but I'm not good yet, or it's daunting, or I just don't see that in right now, in the city. And just kind of finding, for me, is more of like finding my comfort level and being like, I don't see myself like at EDC John Summit wearing all black doing techno. I am very, I'm very, not out of spite, but being like, I wish more people, were like light mode, where wear white would be more ethereal, and just kind of being like, then go for it. If you don't see that yourself, at least engage with your community, talk about it, get feedback, and just follow that inkling of like, I like doing this enough to the point where I want to see where it goes. And I'd say just follow that feeling.
And then I'm not sure if I have the best advice, right? As someone who is not a DJ, the only thing I can really say is answer Instagram ads, baby. Like, that's how I got involved, and it's been really great.
Honestly, yes. Well, thank you. Thanks for the questions, guys. That was amazing. And of course, let's do that plug. Kelsea, how can people get involved with BABE ATX and come to the amazing festival in June?
Yeah, so our socials, we're pretty heavy on Instagram, at BABE ATX or at Babestock Fest. We're also starting our TikTok journey. So if you want to support us and help us grow that following, we're also Babestock Fest. And yeah, so it's happening June 14th and 15th, 2025, in case you're watching this way in the future. You missed it, maybe.
They're on to 2026 for next year.
Yeah. June 14th, 15th, 2025, Cheer Up Charlie's, Austin, Texas, 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. both days. And Sunday is just as lit as Saturday, if not more so.
That's when I went last year, was Sunday, and it was lit, guys. Like, it was a vibe.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's all the information. If you want tickets, you can go to babestockfest.com, or if you want more information, or if you want to get involved, go to babestockfest.com.
Yeah, and if you can't make it for whatever reason on that weekend, there's a lot going on next month. Go to our socials. We're very active. You've really put in the work for that. Repost, someone's, lineup photo. Like, if they're an emerging DJ and they see that someone's like reposting and shouting out, that's gonna make someone stay. Like, even just supporting in that sense is like everything.
Yeah, or if you're just like curious, you're like, I want to support more feminine DJs. I don't know who's out there. You could go to our Instagram and just browse. We have pictures of all our artists and their Instagrams. You could go down a whole rabbit hole exploring all of the artists that we have on this lineup this year. So that's another cool option.
Hell, look at that lineup to get your future DJ to hire. Like, give them a future opportunity beyond Babestock.
100%. And as you'll see after this podcast episode, as the screens are scrolling, there is a link to grab your tickets for Babestock 2025. Thank you guys so much for being here today.
No, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
And of course, if you like the content that you see and supporting artists and the electronic dance music community, give us a follow on Instagram at Amplify EDM, as well as check us out on YouTube, Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts at AMPEDCast, AMPEDCAST. Thank you so much, guys.